Greetings, salutations, and good now. I'm Kevis Major, doing it major, and we're trying to do it major using the insights of astrology. We're into the Taurus season now, so we're gonna be talking about Taurus energy, the Taurus zodiac sign. Now, I'm gonna break it down how I understand it best, and hopefully, you guys find this explanation of, the Taurus useful and helpful. Now, Taurus. Well, let's start with the seasons, right? We have 4 seasons. We got spring, summer, fall, and winter. Now, Taurus falls in the spring season. So when you think about spring, you think about life, right? And things springing forth. We think about birth. So from the very backdrop, Taurus deals with birth and growth and life, right? But each season is cut into 3 modalities: the cardinal, the fixated, and the mutable, right? We have birth, life, death. But death is just transformation, mutable, changeable, adaptable, flexible. So Taurus is the fixated portion of spring. Again, spring, we're talking about birth. You know what I'm saying? Birthing things. But it's not the initiating, it's not the spring birth itself, it's the more fixated. So after it has sprung up, how it's sustained in those early stages of bringing life to something. So you need delicate care. You need to nurture. Everything needs to be calm and cool, sustainable and stable. So those are the Taurus, are the second house, deep rooted characteristics and traits. Taurus are the second house, Taurus zodiac, synonymous to house of value. It speaks towards how you really take care of things and value things and the true essence of what it means to sustain life in itself. Taurus, again, deals with the material, but the value that you could extract from any circumstance, situation, or thing. It governs worth, what something is worth, and the value of things. Taurus energy is about accumulation, pooling the resources and the value of, again, circumstances and situations, even people, places, and things. It's all about cultivation and nurturing, appreciation and beauty, taking care of things. Taurus is an earth sign, grounded, physical, sensual, and it's fixed. So when you talk about earth qualities, again, we're talking about being grounded, stable, centered, organized, structured, stable. At the same time, it being fixed, or the fixated portion of spring, it influences an individual who has a lot of these qualities to be steady, persistent, but even headstrong, stubborn at that. Taurus is also a feminine sign. It's inward focus. Again, just think about you nurturing something and you taking care of something and having to be delicate and be intricate. So, they're well in tune, well receptive, and they really like nice things, the process of making something really, really elaborate. Again, just adding value or extrapolating all of the value out of a person, place, thing, situation, circumstance. The Taurus energy, again, because it's that fixated portion of spring, of life, where we have to take care and everything has to be stable in order for these early sign, for the early life to, really mature. Again, Taurus deals with maturity, or the process of maturing something or curing something, fermenting, even aging. things that can be rushed, processes that can be rushed. That's Taurus. So it builds, it endures, and then it enjoys. Let's talk about some of the dignities. Let's get more astrological. Venus is at home in Taurus. Venus being, that planet of harmony, that planet of balance, planet of love, beauty. I like to say Venus is our fulfillment, how we feel fulfilled. And so Venus expresses itself, or we gain this fulfillment or harmony or balance in different ways. But it loves to be in Taurus, where it's being nurtured, appreciated, taken care of, that fixated life, life and the beauty of life. So in spring, and all the flowers and the different fruits, and all the different things in nature that is beautiful during this springtime. You get that spring rain. It's almost like the best weather, because you get the best of both worlds. You have some sun, you have some rain, you're planting food. So Taurus loves to be here. The moon is exalted in Taurus. Moon being synonymous to our mood. Our mood likes to be stable. You know what I mean? No one likes to be too up and too down and up and down and chaotic. Just a fixated life. Because we're talking about spring. Spring is like birth. So we got that fixated, stable birth. Giving birth to things and kind of taking care. So the moon loves to be here. Emotional security and stability. Mars is in a detriment in Taurus. Mars being this forceful planet of war and destruction. Not destruction, that's a different one, that's Pluto. But war and aggression and your motivation. And so the Taurus energy, as we talked about, is tranquila, And so when it gets out of alignment or too moody or chaotic, and the Mars, is bleeding out, and, Tauruses could get quite aggressive, even abusive. So they don't like to be pushed too much. Again, it's delicate. Tauruses, even though it's fixated Earth, they like delicacies and delightities, if that's a word, and luxury and nice treatment, So Mars doesn't like to be in Taurus. It messes up the peaceful flow. And Uranus falls here. Again, that fixated bird, having to be delicate, nothing out of alignment, nothing out of pocket, nothing out of timing. And Uranus deals with, sudden changes and things going opposite and rebelling against what is stable, or the stability. Uranus disrupts stability. So Tauruses don't like that when you switch up the flow and you knock them off the course and you do anything to disrupt, that smooth flow, that consistency. You know what I'm saying? Now, because it's the fixated portion and they have to be delicate, I'm just thinking about flowers and plants because I come from an agricultural background, and obviously I use astrology for farming and such. But again, just being delicate with plants and delicate with flowers, Tauruses are quite patient, so even when they get a curveball, or even when pushed to the edge, it takes them a long time for them to really, really get crossed, angry, and miserable. These dignities really help us to understand how planets express themselves and just how the Taurus zodiac expresses itself. So when it comes to the positive traits of the zodiac, Taurus, again, we're thinking about that fixated portion of giving birth, So I think about a delicate baby just born, you know what I'm saying? You got to be tender, you got to be patient, all the conditions for conducive growth of this baby needs to be stable and organized. So, the baby needs reliability, even if it's a baby human, a baby plant, a baby animal. It's the birth stage of the astrological year. And so all of those are the positive characteristics of the Taurus zodiac: quite loyal, dependable, reliable, grounded. They have an excellent follow through rate, you know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to taking care of things, or whatever they say, they really do. Taurus second house rules the throat, and so their word is very, very important. Their word is like bond. So you're not going to find a strong Taurus energy person saying things that they're not willing to stand on or even die on. Better believe it. And again, they like nice things, They're quite delicate on the inside, even though they're rough and hard appearing on the outside. And so they like, sensuality. They like to feel appreciated and show appreciation. They like nice things, especially things that take a process to procure a long time. They value good things, luxuries and delicacies and niceties and stuff like this. They're not frivolous spenders and, spending their money on cheap things that are not of real value. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to a neutral trait, again, Taurus is comfort seeking. They like comfort, they like pleasure, they do like nice things. However, they can be too fixated, let's say that, too fixated, too grounded, not changeable and adaptable enough, and that could just cause them to be stagnant if they can't switch it up and bring a different element. However, they are in the birth stage, so they know how to create something, but it just kind of takes them a long time to adapt to a change. But they do have, they can get there. They can spring something, they could create something. A Taurus could be quite possessive over their things, again, because they put a lot of value into them, and they're not going to let anyone disrupt their stability or their organization or just their calm flow. So they could be quite possessive over the things that they can control, because they're trying to keep the birth consistent and stable. So don't mess with their things, and sometimes they need to learn how to lighten up and release control. On a negative side, when it comes to Taurus, is, well, because they're that fixated portion of Earth, they're very stubborn, very headstrong, very set in their ways, had to change their minds, especially when it's set on doing something what they need to do. Resistant to change, and again, they don't like curveballs and things that, first of all, mess with their money, mess with their value, mess with their belongings and properties, but just mess with their calm and their flow of life. They could become quite materialistic and attached to their possessions and the things that they see valuable. And so that could just be an overall block emotionally and spiritually. Especially, when it comes to relationships. I think Taurus zodiac, quite nurturing. Venus rules there, so they could be great with relationships. But, if they get too materialistic, or even, it just depends on the other placements, because they could be more business minded or savvy versus emotional EQ. But that's neither here or there. They do have tendencies to, again, procrastinate, put stuff off if they get too comfortable, so they could be a bit laid back and just not go. They could just be slow to the punch, slow to what they want to attain. So that's the Taurus zodiac in a nutshell. They're too long-winded, so we're gonna end it here. Till we meet or greet again, Kevis Major helping you to do it major with the insights of astrology. I hope you find this video helpful and useful.